Good afternoon, Alan Peters with True Development. Just a quick background on myself. I'm a civil engineer by education. Been doing real estate development for almost 20 years. I oversaw the land development division for Belinsky Homes up until 2009 when the units came off the market. About a month later, I started True Development, and I've been doing that ever since. 2010, I connected with UWM and UWM Real Estate Foundation. They were building Cambridge Commons at the time, student resident hall, 700 bed over on the east side. As that project was wrapping up, they were closing on the property at Milwaukee County grounds, and we're starting Innovation Campus. So then I started helping over there, assisting the foundation with the development and repurposing of the county grounds. So while I don't live in Tosa, I've spent a great deal of time in the community. It's a great community, very central to everything in the metro market. This evening I'm here to present our vision for the 633 West North Avenue property. In fact, it's somewhat of a blend of the two prior proposals. We propose to repurpose the existing facility into a mixed-use commercial and residential project. It will include 14 studio apartments and approximately 4,700 square foot of commercial space. Based on neighborhood reactions to previous apartment projects that tore down existing buildings and built bigger buildings, we were cautious to do the same. So we developed a concept to use the existing structure to maintain the scale and mass that's already in place since the 60s. We refreshed the exterior architecture with a prairie style design, modifying the roof line, replacing windows with a more period design, adding detail that is reflective of the Frank Lloyd Wright building. The brick facade would be painted with a tone that accents the architectural style. Inside, we'll gut the building and start fresh. Studio units would be added to the second floor and part of the first floor, with shared working space on the first floor and lower level. The rear of the building is where the soil contamination is located. We work to clean that up. It goes down about 7 to 9 feet. Soil would be removed, exported off, clean the site up, and then utilize the 14 parking stalls that are in the back as a surface parking lot. The plan for the parking, we've got 14 units that would utilize it overnight, and then the commercial, which is a co-working concept, would utilize the parking during the day, so it would be a shared parking lot. As we look, in our submittal we refer to the co-working, co-living space, and while we understand that it may sound trendy, the underwriting of this asset is based on a mixed-use building containing 14 studio apartments with about 4,700 square feet of office space. As we look at the market, apartment demand in Wauwatosa remains strong based on its central location to Metro Milwaukee. Employment hubs at the Regional Medical Center, Milwaukee Research Park, Mayfair Road, plus Miller Brewing, Harley-Davidson, and Marquette University in the east add to the strength of this location. These large employers support secondary businesses that have sprouted up nearby, such as those in the Research Park and along Mayfair Road. These spaces are great for mid-sized companies, but based on our time assisting the UWM Foundation with managing the accelerator building at Innovation Campus, we saw a lack of smaller space for the startups community. The accelerator building is full, so unfortunately companies looking to locate, place their roots in Wauwatosa, are turned away due to the lack of space. So our reference to co-working and co-living space is a reflection of how we would manage the facility. This is really just a traditional mixed-use building. For the co-living space, we are catering to the professional that relocates to the area by allowing flexible lease terms, plus all the units would be furnished, utilities and internet would be included as part of the rental fee. As for the co-working space, it would be an office space that's available via a monthly membership fee. Our family of members at WAC, it's a similar type concept where we pay a membership fee every month to use the facility. The working space operates off the same concept. This allows a new business to start and scale up without locking into longer-term leases. The space would offer a variety of workspace office options such as private office, conference room, open table, and huddle zones. Past 6 months, 8 months now, I've been working with the Milwaukee County Economic Development Corporation up in Sheboygan. They're looking to build a 40 to 60,000 square foot complex. Same idea with co-working, but just on a grander scale. As part of that work, I've had the opportunity to tour down at St. Louis. Cortex is down in St. Louis, which is a very innovative hub. I saw how they're doing things down there. I also went down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, their innovation district, to kind of tour to see how others are doing this. To be honest, I'm not very smart. I'm just reinventing the wheel here. A lot of other smart people have done this concept, and it's awesome. So obviously by the other proposal too, this co-working space is a new trend in how these spaces are utilizing in a more modern marketplace. By offering furnished work and living spaces with flexible lease options, we are able to add more value to the property, which equates to a higher property assessment. Plus, users of the space typically support the surrounding businesses and cafes with secondary spending on food and everyday essentials. Based on a question that was raised at last week's meeting, what if this plan fails? What is Plan B? Then we revert to leasing the 14 unfinished studio apartments with a standard 12-month lease. The office space will be structured as a typical triple net lease with 3 to 5 year typical term. This is basically a standard mixed-use building that you see in Shorewood, Whitefish Bay, East Side. This building is around and it's been working for decades. So that's Plan B if the co-working, co-living concept fails. I have no intention, no belief it will, but backup is always good. Our project team includes R.G. Keller with Keller Architectural Design and Greenfire Management Services. Greenfire is a minority-owned business enterprise and a small business enterprise. They built the Echelon Apartments and Innovation Campus and have done a number of other residential and commercial projects throughout Metro Milwaukee. So we have a track record of doing similar projects. In fact, Greenfire also built out Ward 4, which is located down in the 3rd Ward, which is another co-working space here in Milwaukee. Working with Greenfire to price this project, we anticipate hard construction costs to be about $2.7 million to repurpose the existing building, which equates to about $190 per square foot. As this process moves forward, we work to value engineer these numbers, but we are working in a climate of robust construction activity with a tight labor market, so overall costs continue to trend upward, which puts pressure on affordability. Another question that was raised, how does this project align to the goals of the housing study? Per the housing study, employment growth is projected to outpace population growth over the next 15 years and add approximately 9,300 new jobs, most of which are professional service and healthcare by 2030, right here in Wauwatosa. This building provides an option, a housing option for those coming to Tosa to work, plus it provides an office option for those growth industries. Retail, on the other hand, was projected only to add about 370 jobs over the same time period. The report also indicated a need to add 2,227 housing units by 2030. So this project helps by adding 14 to the market. Working within the parameters of the existing building, our approach is to tackle affordability to shrink the unit size. That's why we propose studio units rather than 1 or 2 bedroom units. So while we believe this is a great project, the co-working and co-living concept, it meets needs in the community, we are flexible. As I heard folks talk last week about the need for more affordable workforce and senior housing in Tosa, I started to consider another option. If the city is interested in pursuing affordable workforce and or senior housing, I'd be happy to scrap this plan and start a new approach. This past week, I've been working with Baker Tilly to analyze this location for the low-income housing tax credit project cycle. Long and the short is, this is a great site, great location. So what are the next steps for something like that? The WIDA application for tax credits are due December 14th, 2018. From now on 10, it's a tight time frame to get the documents in order, but it can be done. To do something like that, my plan would be actually to scrap the building, start fresh, build a 3 to 4 story building with underground parking. Given the lot size, that would be about 10,000 square feet per floor, and we need TIF and city support to make it happen. That, in closing, then helps address affordability needs that were raised in the housing study. So in closing, we want to help the city advance its goals. We'd be honored to develop either idea. Both are viable options at this location. Any questions? Yes.
Just to clarify, the co-living overview envisions 14 studio-type units. Would all of those occupants be sharing one kitchen then?
No, each unit would have their own, I'll call it kitchenette, which is a sink, a 2-burner electric top, microwave, and a mini fridge within their unit. And then full-size kitchen space would be in a shared area then. So if you want to make the family a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, you'd go in a larger kitchen for something like that. Yes?
So I can ask you maybe some of the same questions I asked the group before you. So do you check to see, there's other existing co-working spaces in Milwaukee? Do you know how, I know you mentioned the Accelerator project, but the other ones in the market, do we know how full they are?
I've been, Regis out in Brookfield, they've been around for a long time. I've utilized them, they got a similar concept, but it's just not evolved like this is. Regis actually now started another company called Spaces. Spaces just signed on. What they are doing, they've actually capitalized some of the space within Milwaukee because they just signed a 40,000 square foot lease with Stu Wongard for his building down on the river downtown Milwaukee. So there are more co-working spaces that are growing in the market right now, but I think that's a reaction to the demand. So while I don't have an exact, are the spaces full? Typically these spaces are flexible that they allow an add-on, and this design actually caters to the smaller startup, and then the idea is actually once they get and need larger space, just going on the city's website, there's other spaces within Wauwatosa, the Research Park, Mayfair Road, and also now you have 2,000 square foot spaces that are available that then these companies can grow up and grow into. So this is more geared towards a smaller scale, the startup, the individual, and they're not using it straight from a 9-to-5 type basis. Sometimes they're using it 3 days a week, the next time maybe it's 1 day a week. They're very fluid in the time they actually spend in the office at the location. So they're flexible and can handle a variety of people without having an impact on the neighborhood or the performer.
You said $109 a foot for construction costs?
Estimated right now.
You said 109 or 190?
190.
And so at that cost, why not raise the building and build new slightly grade structure?
Initially, my concern was just a neighborhood reaction. I just saw how some of the neighbors objected to some of the other larger scale projects in the community.
I mean, same scale. So say you raise it and rebuild it at, I don't know, 140 foot, 150 foot new building.
Well, I believe we'd be able to value engineer that number down, because right now we're just dealing off a property that's been empty for a few years. There's been issues to it. We had a quick 1 hour walkthrough.
Sure.
There's a lot of unknowns right now, so.
Correct.
Correct.
And then can you talk about some other, I mean, you said you've been doing development for 20 years. Can you talk about some other kind of recent development projects that you've done? I think you served as like kind of a consultant maybe for some groups, but.
Correct. So in Waukesha, I work with the Family Trust out there. They have land holdings. We come in and we help repurpose some properties, and then we also do subdivision development. We don't do any condominiums, but we get single-family lots available. We also do commercial, where we have tenants that are ready to go, and get some sites ready for them from that perspective. And then right now I'm working as an owner's rep with Sheboygan County on a building they want to do up in Sheboygan. So we are working with secured tenants right now. So we're meeting with a number of people within the community, get tenants signed on board, and then we will start going through the space planning process. So on that project, Abacus Architects is the architect on board. So we'll start space planning with the tenants that come on. And then here in Milwaukee, I worked with UWM. They had Cambridge Commons that they did, worked as a tenant rep for UWM Housing. Through that relationship, I got to know the folks within the foundation, which then sprung board out to Innovation Campus here. And then with Belinsky, we developed a number of commercial and single-family stuff, stretching from Madison to Green Bay down to Racine area. So.
So one would rent a studio, is it contingent that they also rent space from you?
Co-working space?
Mm-hmm.
No. No,
So
they could be
one
two
could
separate.
co-work and one could
Yes.
just do a studio if they want?
Yeah.
Okay, and they wouldn't get a break if they did both?
Honestly, I haven't even thought that far. I mean, yeah, I'm all about breaks, so yeah, we'd incentivize it.
And what was your vacancy?
Apartments are about 5. I mean, the market in Wauwatosa is extremely strong right now, so a 5% vacancy rate was calculated in. I believe right now the market is less than that, a little bit tighter. Co-working space, we didn't include a vacancy number, we actually included a monthly membership number. So we assumed it was like about 20 people or so using the space on a variable level, so.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.